Hey, Warren Eckstein here. Today I want to talk about cats. Cats are so misunderstood. I would say when I first started talking to you guys on the radio 41 years ago, I would say 85% of my questions were about dogs and dog behavior. 15% on cat and cat behavior. Now it's 50-50 and sometimes more cat questions than dog questions. When I wrote one of my first books, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, by the way, a bestseller by Random House, I talk about that. In fact, I open up the book by simply stating, and this is a quote at the beginning of the book, "In the beginning, God created man, but seeing him so feeble, he gave him the cat." What can be truer than that? I often talk to you off the cuff and talk about how I feel about certain types of behavior. Today's going to be a little bit different because I've so had it with people saying things like, for example, cats don't need as much attention as dogs, and cats can be left by themselves, and cats just are low maintenance pets. Not high maintenance like dogs. All of that is absolute nonsense. Cats are thinking, loving animals with feelings just like we have. I don't often do this. I often talk off the cuff, but I want to read the back cover of How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. I firmly believe that your cat is a member of your family. If you keep that in mind, you truly feel it, your cat will act like one. That's one of the basic premises of the book. Okay, once you accept that premise, we've got to decide exactly how to treat the new family member. I often say this. If you go into a home and someone just brought home a puppy and a kitten, and they have family or friends coming over, and the puppy and the kitten run off into a room, the family will go get the puppy and bring the puppy out, but very often they'll leave the kitten in the other room saying, it's a cat, cats do what they want to do. Cats miss out because people don't take the time to socialize them as much as they should be socialized. If you've ever gone into a home with socialized cats, if you put a dog costume on them, you pretty much can't tell the difference. They come when they're called. I remember years ago, I was doing the David Letterman show when I was training Dave's dogs. And he said, Warren, you can't really train cats. That's about the same time this book came out. So what do you mean you can't train cats, Dave? Have you ever tried? He said, no. I said, okay, well, let me prove it. I went home. A few days later, I went back on Dave's show, and we were talking about animal behavior in general. And I brought on my cat, Meow. Meow was a feral cat that I took off the streets on Long Island, Oceanside to be exact. And I taught her a lot of different things. I taught her how to walk on a leash and harness, how to come when called. Dave said, impossible, you can't teach a cat to sit, blah, blah, blah. Well, I did. So I brought Meow on the show with my then wife, Faye, who rest in peace, Faye, was with me. And I demonstrated Meow walking on a leash, coming when called, sitting and staying. And Dave's jaw just dropped. I guess you can. Well, I guess you can. Here's the problem. If you've never been owned by a cat, and I say that literally, you have no idea how intelligent, how social they can be. That's why when people say that cats are low maintenance, it drives me crazy. They need a lot of intelligence. Some of the questions I get on the show is, Warren, my cat's not using a litter box. Or Warren, my cat scratched the furniture. Or Warren, my cat's waking me up at night. Or Warren, my cat won't leave me alone. Why? They're not getting the socialization. They're not getting the amount of energy expression as they should. That's why very often I say on the show, here's the deal. It's way too dangerous to let cats outside nowadays. Let's face it, coyotes, packs of dogs, crazy people. Cats should be indoors. If you want to take the time to teach your cat to walk on a leash and harness, I'm all for that. Or if you want to put an outside enclosure for your cat that's safe and no other animals can get in, I'm all for that too. But for the most part, cats should be inside. So to understand that, you need to understand that cats are nomadic by nature. What does that mean? They like different things, different changes. They see this, they see that. In our house, it's pretty sterile. It's the same thing day in and day out. So what do? How about making your inside of your house outdoor interesting? How do you do that? You don't have to grow a tree in the middle of the house, but here's what I do when I have cats. I have the cats places where they can go in the house, and I use cardboard boxes and paper bags. Do I have scratching posts? Yeah, there's scratching posts and all kinds of things for them to climb on. But the most incredible thing you can do is give the cats something to explore. What do? I go to the supermarket. I get cardboard boxes. They're free. I change them every day, every other day. One smells like lettuce. One smells like fish. One smells like plums. One smells like beef. What difference does it make? And I'm creative. I put one on top of the other. Little kitty condo, a duplex for them. I cut holes in them. So what does that mean? That means the cats are constantly having changes within their environment. Boxes are free. Bags are free too. But if you're going to use bags, remember to cut off those handles. That can be dangerous. Growing organic catnip and other organic things are fine as well. But here's another thing that's important to understand. Cats need social time. They really do. Very often, cats have kind of been pushed off to the side a little bit. Bless you guys for rescuing cats. Sometimes they come with not baggage, but sometimes they come with problems. They've been abused, or they've never been socialized, they've been left outside. The majority of cats that I've had in my life, and I've had literally hundreds, or I should say they've had me, they've all been feral cats, stray cats, abused, 3 legs, whatever. But as long as you give them the opportunity to realize that they're part of the family, that they can be social, that you include them in family things, rather than just letting them run off, and you make their inside environment outdoor interesting, you're going to have an incredible relationship. You know, you go to the shelter, you see so many cats up for adoption, older cats especially. I love older cats. I mean, I just adore older cats. They're the wise felines of the world. They know everything that's going on. So let me put this in perspective for you. In a book like this, How to Get Your Cat to Do What You Want, or just by listening to the show or watching some of the videos I do here on YouTube, I hope you understand that cats are not just that stray roaming down the street. They're intelligent, emotional, thinking beings just like you and me. So if you have a cat or you're thinking about a cat, or think about adopting a cat or taking in a stray, make sure you spend a lot of time. It may take a lot of patience and maybe a bottle of Chardonnay for yourself to understand. But if you give it the amount of time, you socialize at your pace, but not only your pace, the cat's pace. If the cat doesn't want to socialize right now, that's okay. Don't force it. Little by little, you're going to start noticing that your cats want more and more and more attention. Every cat I've ever lived with, when people came over, the first thing they did was not run into another room. They ran over to see who it was. And I did that by making sure every time someone came over, something very positive happened with the cat. We'll talk about that at a future segment. So I want to leave you with this. For those people out there that are saying, well, cats are low maintenance, they don't need attention, they don't need all these toys, you can leave them alone for days at a time, that's nonsense. I never recommend. People say to me, Warren, well, you know what? If you have a dog and you have to go away overnight, you have to hire somebody. What about a cat? You think they like being by themselves? Yeah, they use the litter box. You have to walk them. I understand all that. You can leave food down. I get it. But what about the head part of it? The head part of it's just as important. I never recommend leaving any animal alone overnight. A couple hours here, 8 hours here, that's fine. But if you're going to spend 2 nights away or a long time, you're not coming back till late in the day, I always advise having someone come over to take care of your cat. Not just someone who understands cats and cat behavior. I want to, again, remind you that on the Pet Show, years ago, the majority of my questions were about dogs. Now it's 50-50, maybe even more cats than dogs at this point. And the reason for that is people are finally getting it, that cats are incredible animals, but you need to treat them like part of the family, not just the family cat. Stay tuned for more information coming up on my YouTube channels. I'm really expanding it. Or tune into the Pet Show for more information. Check out the website, thepetshow.com. And for right now, you know what to do. Give all your cats a big hug and a kiss for you, and a special one for me. I'm Warren Eckstein. Talk to you on the Pet Show.